Hey, all right, I got this little clip. It's MSNBC, Al Sharpton, and he's got one of his little guys on here, and they're going to talk about George Zimmerman, of course, and they believe that civil rights charges must be filed.
Back with a simple question. Did Trayvon Martin have a civil right not to be profiled as a criminal?
Nope. Even the police are allowed to profile him as a criminal if he looks like the people that are doing the crimes.
Did he have a civil right not to be followed by a man armed with a gun?
No, because then you would be taking away the man's right with the gun. Everybody has a right, civil right, to carry a gun. That's the Second Amendment.
Those are the questions facing the Justice Department today as
Not
it
really.
considers whether to file federal civil rights charges against George Zimmerman.
No, the only thing that's concerning them is whether or not George killed Trayvon because Trayvon was black. That's the only thing that they can concern themselves with.
For the death of Trayvon Martin. This morning, I, along with other civil rights leaders and clergy, rallied at the Justice Department in Washington to call for those charges to be filed.
It's amazing that there's that many people that don't know anything about the case. Or they do know and they don't care. I don't know. You tell me. Who in their right mind would suggest that it's wrong? I mean, which one of these guys would say, I'm not allowed to shoot somebody when they've got me down on the ground and they're bashing my head on the concrete?
Joining me now is Joe Madison. Thanks for being here tonight, Joe.
Thank
Joe,
you, Reverend.
Why wouldn't this be a civil rights case?
I really don't know why it wouldn't be a civil rights case. Just like the group where you today came to Washington, understand it. I was with the NACP in Orlando, Florida on Monday, and I said, Trayvon Martin had a right to walk in that area, that complex, just like Vivian Malone had a right to walk into the doors of the University of Alabama, just like Rosa Parks had a right to sit on that bus wherever she wanted to, just like Medgar Evers had a right to walk on his driveway without being shot down.
Right.
But did Trayvon have a right to bash George's head on the concrete? That is the real question.
And that's really, I think, how the Justice Department should look at it. And I said this morning that, look, this is not the era of Jim Crow, but it's Jim Crow's grandson, James Crow
Jr.
Esquire.
It's Jim Crow in reverse.
Right.
That's right. And it's far more subtle. It is far more sophisticated. But the result.
So he's suggesting that there's some sort of sophisticated racism that's going on in this country, and that's why Trayvon is dead.
Is still the same. Everyone must ask themselves, what did Trayvon Martin do wrong?
He was breaking George's head open while he was telling him he was going to kill him. Do you even know? Did you watch the case? Do you only have the information that MSNBC provided you?
And that's the real
question.
And see, let me say this also, Joe, and as you know this, these cases have happened. We talked about Rodney King last night, where the police were acquitted in state court, and then the Justice Department came in and tried them in federal court on civil rights charges and convicted them. Right here in New York, Anthony Baez was choked to death by police. 1996, the officer was acquitted in state court. Then he was convicted of federal civil rights charges. So it has happened, and it has happened where it wasn't as clear a profiling in some of these situations.
Right. And in that case, in both of those cases, you'll notice they were talking about police officers, because police officers have the they have the color of law, which means that they can control you in a way that a civilian can't. So let's say a cop were to take you and handcuff you and put you in the back seat of his car and then fill up the car with pepper spray. That would be a violation of your civil rights, because he's confining you and then he's torturing you. That's definitely a civil rights violation, because it's a police officer. You You went along with him. You put your hands behind your back. You got in the car. See, if it were just another guy, that wouldn't happen. That's why, and you certainly won't hear them bring up a case where two individuals were brought up in this way, and where one of them was held responsible.
And everybody is hinging on the fact, well, he didn't use the N-word. He didn't use other kinds of racial epithets. Now, I agree.
Yeah, but Trayvon did. Trayvon used the creepy ass cracker, and yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe some white people don't take offense to it. Some do. Just like some blacks don't take offense to the N-word, and some do. Can't we just call each other, by our names, or hey, you?
Agree with Attorney Carter, who you had on,
right?
Because we played that tape over and over and over, and what he said. And again, instead of having a cable news station analyze it, let the FBI analyze it.
No one should have better equipment. But let me tell you something. Already we're seeing.
Well, we know that they already analyzed. They've been analyzing, and they actually helped Crump with his tape. Remember the one that he made with Didi?
The news pundits at Fox trying to undermine the Justice Department over the last couple of days. Watch this.
The Department of Justice, its active involvement in fomenting anti-Zimmerman protests in Sanford, Florida.
That's true. I mean, look, we had the trial. What should have eased the tensions should have been the fact that we had an open trial that was on television. You could sit and watch it in the comfort of your home, the entire thing, from the beginning to the end. There was no doubt about it. This was a self-defense case. Everybody agreed at the end. The only people that don't agree are the people that didn't watch the case.
Last year,
the Department of Justice might as well, in this instance, be called the Department of Political Justice.
And that makes sense. I mean, you notice that they made this very short clip. They're not going to show you much. But we all know that this judge is fair and he's honest. So this judge that you just saw on here knows a whole lot more about the law than these little flakes do. Well, I guarantee it.
Does it seem the Department of Justice is taking their marching orders from the new Black Panther Party?
Doesn't it? I mean, the new Black Panther Party these were the guys that were trying to arrest George when the cops weren't after him. Remember? They had put a bounty on his head. It was totally illegal. I haven't really followed up on it, but I would say that the Justice Department should have somebody's head rolling already. Somebody should be in prison for that.
I mean, this is like a concerted effort to discredit the Justice Department, while there are those that will appear to the Justice Department to execute what is fair, and as I just named, have done before under other administrations.
Well, like I said before, it's never, and we're certainly not going to hear of any cases here of individuals where one had been acquitted in a state court, found to be innocent based or not guilty based on the fact that it was self-defense. And now they're going to suggest that now they can pull the civil or the federal court in. I don't think so.
And hey, and as you know, and they know it too, these are career attorneys. These are attorneys that were probably there under the Bush administration, who knows what administrations.
Right. So what?
And this is not where, and you know Eric Holder like I know Eric Holder. Eric Holder is not some dictator.
Oh, really?
Matter of fact, a lot of times when we try to have discussions with him, what do you plan to do? Look, he has to put all these attorneys together, and they have to come up with a decision. So Fox is disingenuous.
And he's been in the Justice Department a long time and has said yes and no in a lot of situations.
Absolutely. So what they're doing is that they're playing to a audience that doesn't know what you know and what I know. And
that sounds like it's just the reverse. You guys are playing to an audience that doesn't know what we know. We know about the George Zimmerman case. We know about Fast and Furious and all the other things that Eric Holder has refused the requests of the Congress to investigate. We know all about it. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Benghazi and all these other ones, there's just a whole bunch of stuff that they're trying to hide.
Well, we're now educating this audience to know that these decisions are not made in a vacuum. They're not made by a dictator. And by the way, when the FBI, part of the Justice Department, went into Sanford, they came out with the conclusion initially that, well, George Zimmerman may not be a racist. Now, how do they respond to that?
Oh, it was all right then, but they don't want to see a formal, aggressive investigation.
There's been a formal, aggressive investigation, for goodness sakes. It's been going on for over a year and a half. And the FBI has already said, and, excuse me, I don't know, I don't have the person's name, but I've got several reports that say that the FBI, and this is all over the newspaper, all over the television, they've already done their investigation and they find no racism. That's the only thing that they can look at. This bull crap about whether or not Trayvon had a right to walk through the neighborhood without being profiled as a criminal. It's ridiculous. Show me such a case. I mean, it must be that they just get a lot of money for the ratings. I don't know. So anyhow, I just wanted to bring this stuff up. It's maybe we'll have a few more of them, or maybe we'll move on to a new topic. But good talking to you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
Joe Madison have got to go.